Hi, folks. Welcome back to Racin-n-Braisin. I am CJ coming at you on Monday night, where we are going to recap what we saw Sunday at Homestead with the Cup Series 400-mile race. Let's dive right on into it. As you guys know, Kyle Larson gets his first win of the season. I think Kyle Larson passed every single car this weekend. He was in the truck race, XFINITY race, and of course in the Cup race. Kyle Larson was absolutely on fire. There was no denying him a win this weekend. Circumstances were definitely denying Ryan Blaney. Unfortunately, he got his third DNF in a row and his second blown engine of the year, which is a surprise because as the broadcast pointed out, he hasn't had a blown engine in almost 6 years. To have two already this season is pretty remarkable and very unfortunate, but I don't think any of us Ryan Blaney fans or any other Penske fans in general out there should be worried. Ryan Blaney's got fast equipment and he's shown a lot of speed. They just need to finish it out at some point. Guaranteed Blaney's going to get a win here early this season. They are showing a ton of speed and will definitely be up front every single week. We've already seen that. Unfortunate for them to blow an engine late. They were definitely a contender this past week at Homestead. I feel like they would have been right there in contention at the end and part of a good 4 or 5 way battle during that last run. All day long pit strategy made a big difference throughout the race. The restarts, of course, were chaotic, always expected at Homestead. Once they got single filed and everybody started tackling their race, it definitely turned into a pit strategy race. And we saw that the longer cars ran on the front end of the strategy, the better that they ended up at the tail end of each stage. Kyle Larson, of course, in particular, but I think Denny Hamlin employed that strategy in the second stage as well, and that worked out for him too. We also saw Bowman, Briscoe, Buscher be quietly fast all day long. Bowman led a bunch of laps, used that number one pit stall from getting the pole to his advantage, picked up the lead a couple of times on cautions. So, was it a good race? Yes, I think so. I think it put on a good show. It definitely kept my interest all throughout the pit strategies with the way that they played out and stretched out into, at times, a difference of almost 15 laps on one of the stages. Kept things interesting. It felt like there were a lot of comers and goers. People definitely made improvements on their cars. Other people had issues with their cars, and we saw a lot of movement throughout the day. Speaking of movement throughout the day, let's talk about the picks. Mom had first pick. It was Noah Gragson, and that did not pan out so well for her. He looked good in the first stage, stayed up in the top 10 throughout most, then had a little bit of contact on a late restart in the first stage with Bubba Wallace, my pick for the day. What looked like was going to be the bad end of things for Wallace actually really ended up being the bad end of things for Gragson. In stage 2, he did not have a good restart, fell back in the pack, and just stayed back there. Upper teens throughout the rest of the day, never really climbing back into the top 10. Finishing 16th. Bubba Wallace got the good end of that contact late in stage 1. They continued to work on their car, kept him up front all day long, and ended up finishing 3rd, which gained me a bunch of points and has now brought me back within 8 points and within striking distance of taking a lead over top of Mom in our regular season competition. Good day for me, not so great day for Mom, and I have first pick going into next week. Speaking of next week, we've got Martinsville on tap next. All 3 series are going to be there again. Friday is going to be trucks, Saturday Xfinity, and of course Cup on Sunday. Cup is going to be 400 laps this time. So a shortened version, hopefully that increases the intensity. And also hopefully Goodyear is going to bring a soft enough tire to make the short track racing a little bit better. Which this next-gen car definitely needs all the help that it can get on the short half-mile tracks. One final note before we let Homestead go for the season. Let's talk about Homestead in next year. I saw on Out of the Groove this morning Eric talking about Homestead tickets for next year. The website, the Homestead official website, is showing that a to be determined event for November 1st of 2026. So does that mean that Homestead is going to be the championship race next year and they're working on it? Or does that mean that Homestead is getting moved back into the playoffs? Yet to be seen. The crowd size looked like it was about half to three quarters of the way full this past weekend. So sales were okay. Looked like a decent enough crowd there this weekend. Hopefully moving that event back to the fall will bring a big crowd and make that race more worthwhile and worth more late in the season next year. That's all I have got for you guys as far as racing talk goes. Real quick, I do want to touch on, I'm thinking about hot dogs for Martinsville next week. That's what Martinsville is known for, and I haven't had a good dog in a little while. So we'll tackle those next week when we get to it. Be sure to look out for my next video. That will be, of course, Thursday, where we preview what is coming up for the weekend at Martinsville. Thanks again for joining me here on Monday night, guys. Another edition of Racin-n-Braisin is in the books. I will catch you all Thursday night. Have yourself a great week. Bye now.